If you like this video, make sure to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell icon to get the latest updates.
All the participants for this webinar of SAP IBP. So good evening to everyone, and we'll quickly start off with the session in the interest of the time. What I would request is, let's have this most interactive session so that it's not only a one-way communication, but we also get to know about your career aspirations, what exactly you are doing now. So how can we basically work together to make it a successful event for you all? Okay. So you can throw across as many questions as you have. Okay, don't think about anything while raising the question. Even if you have a very small doubt or a query in your mind, do speak up during the session, or even you can post them after the sessions, as you wish. So first of all, the disclaimer, I'll give you a minute, to just run through this disclaimer because it's extremely important to understand, how exactly we are progressing and how exactly we are collecting the data and information. Okay, so we move on to the next slide, which is basically an agenda slides. So what are the various topics that we are going to cover in today's webinar is basically introduction of both, trainer as well as students introduction. This will be the first part that will go along with to understand what exactly you are doing and what exactly would you like to do going forward in your career. Then a little bit of an overview about SAP, the journey of SAP, the job outlook as to how important is SAP in the current scenarios of the business, how business has adapted SAP and how it is helping the business, to grow. Then, of course, the important part is to also understand the financial aspects for learning SAP and how does it help the newcomers to have financially strong career going forward. So we'll touch upon the salary trend, the job trend, the industries that uses SAP. I think most of the industries are slowly and surely getting integrated into some part of SAP, so that you will learn in the subsequent slides. Then objective of the course, prerequisites, so and so forth. So these particular sessions would be focusing on the SAP and IBP, and what are the different offerings by ZaranTech. We will also help you to understand how does the overall process with ZaranTech works, which will help you to select the best institute, and why to choose ZaranTech. So you will learn at the end of the this session as to what importance does it add by selecting ZaranTech as your career learning partner. So we'll touch upon these slides. So quickly, I will move on to the next slide. If you have any question related to the agenda, please do ask me. Any questions now with respect to this slide, or we move forward?
Please go forward.
Okay. So introduction of the trainer. Okay, my name is Samir Rane and I am based here in Mumbai, and basically my qualification is I have done my industrial engineering, and followed by that I have done my master's in the operations management. I have overall 20 plus years of experience in the supply chain management, the hardcore supply chain, end-to-end supply chain management. The various aspects of supply chain which are part of my experience is basically the demand planning, which is forecasting, budgeting process, then supply planning, okay, making the production planning and inventories, then customer service, warehouse logistics, and overall manufacturing operations management. So in my career, I have been instrumental in working with SAP throughout for last more than 15 plus years. I was instrumental in implementing the various SAP systems for various organizations. like SAP ERP system related to the production planning, which we call as a PP module, then module, then the advanced version of SAP like APO demand planning, APO supply network planning, then transportation module, what we call it as a TM. And lately, I was instrumental in also implementing the end-to-end SAP IBP system for the organizations, which I have been working on. So apart from the wide knowledge of SAP systems, I am also very much doing the training courses, delivering the training to the various organizations, delivering the training related to SAP for various organizations. And I have been associated with ZaranTech as well, where I deliver the SAP IBP training. So overall, my focus area has been end-to-end supply chain management, and of course, delivering the training related to SAP IBP and other SAP module. So that's a brief introduction about me. So about SAP. So I think you all are aware about how the SAP is started. So this is a little bit about how the SAP has started the organization. So SAP is basically a German multinational software company. Okay, so it is since you are already associated with SAP, you know what exactly it stands for. It stands for systems, application, and product in the data processing. So SAP has been instrumental in focusing on the ERP solutions. Okay, it provides you the solutions which is basically very widely used in the industry sectors. And since you all are already associated with the SAP, you know how the various systems work. So it provides you the solutions in the various aspects such as finance, manufacturing, logistics, human resources, and of course planning, supply chain, and the operations management as well. So SAP is instrumental in handling the end to end operations process, what I would say in simple term, order to cash process, O2C, what we call it. That means receipt of order till the product is delivered to the customer. And also procure to pay. That means you procure the material from the vendor till the time you pay. So all the aspects from O2C or procure to pay or finance modules, everything, or even PNL is managed through SAP. So the next slide talks about the journey of SAP, how SAP has been working to provide a lot of solutions to the organization, and based on their success story so far, how they have integrated themselves into more and more advanced technologies, and providing the solutions to various platforms. So SAP was founded in 1972, by the five former IBM employees. They had left the organization and they formed a small company, thinking that they would develop some solutions with respect to the ERP to the organization. And since then, the journey started in 1979. They had released their first ERP system, and since then they started expanding themselves into various countries and various states. And you can see, going forward in 2020 and 2022, now they are in the process, or they have already launched the SAP IBP system. So the journey has been quite lucrative for SAP systems, because they have been always focusing about providing the solutions, and that's what SAP IBP talks about. It's basically the integrated system that finally they have launched in the past few years. So earlier they were only talking about the systems which focuses on the departmental processes. When I say departmental process, is basically they had a module, let's say, which is called as a PP module, that is production planning module. So production planning module was focusing on the activities related to supply chain. Okay, production planner, or the supply planner. And then they had a different module called as which is basically the materials management module, which focuses mainly on the procurement side. Then they had SD module, the sales and distribution module, which focuses on the customer service activities like order processing, billing to customers, this customer claim settlement. So they had a lot of small systems which were working individually, although these systems somewhere at the background were interlinked to each other. Okay, and they were communicating with each other. But there was some amount of a silos in these various modules. That's one of the reason SAP thought that now it's time to integrate all the systems together and have a one common platform for the organization, which is basically called as SAP Integrated Business Planning. So as we move forward, you will understand how the IBP is different from the SAP legacy systems, and what are the basically the merits and demerits of the IBP system. So this slides talks about the journey of SAP. If you have any specific question related to this, you can ask, or else we move to the next slides. Guys, am I going fast? Do you want me to be little slow, or the pace speed is okay?
No, I'm good.
It is fine for me also.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so as I mentioned, the job outlook. Okay, the career opportunities in the SAP IBP system. On an average, the person who is working on SAP IBP, or who has got a good knowledge or hands-on SAP IBP system, he gets an approximately salary of $65,000 to $100,000. In the United States. So the average latest salary trend is somewhere in the range of $100,000 per month for a person who's well versed with SAP IBP system. So this is basically an average. This does not mean that the salary would somewhere range only close to 100,000. Based on your expertise, based on your experience, based on the implementation that you have done, and the problem solving ability, there is a demand for SAP IBP professionals in the market at this point in time. Because on one side, most of the organization, because I would say if I talk about the industry segments, SAP IBP was predominantly introduced or implemented first by the finance organization, or I would say the pharma organization, not the finance organization, the pharmaceutical companies. And based on their success stories, many pharmaceutical companies are slowly integrated into SAP IBP system. So overall, if you look at the market trend currently, so not only the pharmaceutical organization, but the chemical organization, the finance organization, the manufacturing organization in the various sectors are slowly moving from the legacy SAP system into SAP IBP system. So this basically triggers more demand of the SAP IBP professionals in the market. And based on the demand, like if if a person is well equipped with SAP IBP tools and technologies, then he would definitely have an upper edge in the market to grab the opportunities related to SAP IBP. So some of the job titles are basically the consultants, the specialists, the developers, so and so forth. Some of you have already mentioned that they are already working on SAP S4 HANA system. So these people are somewhere aware about how the integrated business planning system works, because it somewhere down the line works on the SAP S4 HANA platform. Okay, so the industries which are growing in the IBP system is computer science, hospitality, healthcare, finance services, and information technology. And also the manufacturing organizations are widely adapting to SAP IBP system. So this is about the market requirements or the job market trend related to the SAP IBP professionals. So this also talks about somewhere, how the salary band works. Okay, so you can see the average salary of $100,000, but it can go up to $200,000 as well, based on the overall experience and the implementation that a person has done in the SAP IBP field. The next slide basically talks about how the market started switching over to the new tools, SAP IBP. You can see here from 2017 onwards, the requirements for SAP IBP is growing very rapidly. So there is a requirement of the permanent employment as well as the contract employment in the market. So contract employment were mainly related to the consultants or the trainers, who are associated with the organization for a period of time, and then they implement, they do the project management, they implement everything, train the organization, and once the organization is mature enough, they take up the another project. So this is how the trend is looking currently. This is one of the best, if you want to make your career in the software industry or in the supply chain organization. So SAP IBP is very instrumental, and if a person gets a knowledge of SAP IBP and if he's got a good hands-on experience, he will be definitely a shade better, than the any other person who really does not know much about the SAP. Okay. So this is basically, the fields leveraging SAP technology, as I mentioned: manufacturing, healthcare, transportation, then media and entertainment, public sector. So almost all the organizations or the fields, are slowly getting themselves into SAP IBP system. I foresee that from now to next 10 years down the line, this would be a widely used system in almost most of the organization. So this is the right time to invest in the IBP system. Try and get the knowledge, have good hands-on experience, and then you will be, at par with respect to the market requirement. So now we'll talk about, what are the offerings by ZaranTech. Okay, so we have basically SAP integrated business planning solution strategies. Okay, so modeling a business process using SAP integrated business planning, identifying the data inputs options, so and so forth. So these are basically the course objective of the SAP IBP system. So if at all you think of taking over the course, you will be definitely trained with how the basics of the SAP IBP, plus a complete hands-on experience of using the SAP IBP system, as to how the master data is being fed, how the master data is developed, and how the master data is maintained in the system, because master data is the most important and critical parameter of any uh, any processes or any tool, ERP tool or any other tool that we use. So this particular course objectives will try and satisfy all the requirements which are basically needed for a person to become a consultant or a functional expert in the supply chain domain with respect to SAP IBP. So any specific question related to this slide?
Yes, I do
Yeah.
have one question. So, will you cover the certification syllabus also in this course? The IBP
Um,
certification.
yes.
So, will you cover the IBP certification syllabus in this course also?
When you say IBP certification syllabus, that means the end-to-end IBP system, right? Yes.
Right, right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the answer to this is yes. we'll complete the entire syllabus of IBP system, and we'll see what all are the factors which are covered in the IBP system. Plus also, to the students, based on the course that they have applied for, we provide them with the server access, wherein they can practice on the server. They can make their own modeling on the server, which is also covered during the training, and that server access would be granted to the student for the period of time, and they can do all the possible, they can create all the possible scenarios on the server. So yes, to answer to your question is yes, we do provide the complete course, certification course, along with the server access.
Okay, thank you.
I
Okay.
also see that Srivatsa has raised his hand. Yes, Srivatsa, you can go ahead. Thank you, Snail, for your question. I hope you got the answer for the same. I'll also be going ahead and share the table of content of what we'll be able to deliver and what are the topics which we'll be delivering in the upcoming session, what we'll be starting, Snail. I'll give you a call tomorrow and I'll be sharing.
Yeah, that will help. Yeah, thank you.
Sounds good, Snail. Yes, Srivatsa, over to you.
Yeah, hi. So you are talking about the server, right? Like, is it an HANA server or you are going to give an IBP server?
Yeah, it will be an IBP server. If you opt for a course SAP IBP solution, we'll be giving you the server access related to the IBP SAP IBP systems.
So you are telling me that in IBP we will be creating a master data, everything.
Absolutely, yes, yes.
Oh, okay.
And we'll also be providing you the server access for 2 months, Srivatsa. Once you enroll for the program, you'll be given 2 months of server access. This will be a dedicated server for all the participants where they can, it will be 24/7, so where you can start practicing and working on hands-on. I
Okay.
hope we cleared your answer.
Yeah, and SAP IBP works on the S4 HANA platform, So the platform
Yes.
remains S4 HANA, okay, but the server access would have the all the SAP functionalities, the Excel user interface as well as Fiori app, so on and so forth.
That's what I was supposed to ask. Like, you will be providing HANA as well or only IBP? That was my question.
Yeah. Okay. Any other questions? So the next slide is what are the prerequisites for attending the courses. So you need to have, or one person need to have the basic knowledge of supply chain management. You know how the overall supply chain management function works. Okay. If a person doesn't have the knowledge, okay, you can let us know that you do not have any background knowledge. For example, if a student who has just passed out and if he wants to learn about SAP IBP, so we can start off with some background information as to how the supply chain management process works. Then the basic knowledge of SAP supply chain planning solutions, like if you, since you all have worked on or somewhere associated with the SAP systems, so you must be knowing about how the supply chain processes and the solutions work. Able to understand the advanced planning and optimization, APO. Okay, so these are basically the prerequisites. It's not that you need to be an expert in this field, but having a knowledge about these systems would definitely help you to grab the SAP IBP, which is basically an advanced system, to grab it more effectively during the course. Okay, now the next one is who should apply or who should take up this course. The application consultants, the project team members, or the key user or the power users. So basically the consultants who are in the process of giving consultation to some other organizations, it would be very helpful for them to get enrolled in this course so that they have good in-depth knowledge of how the system works. Because generally what I have observed is consultants does have a very rich technical knowledge, but process related knowledge, some of the consultants, they lack these expertise. So having this course would definitely help them to understand how the different processes works, and they will be able to work with their client more efficiently. Of course, the project management teams, team members, and the key users are the one who are basically involved in the day-to-day process. So these are the people who can take up this course. Apart from that, if there is anyone who's interested in making his career in the SAP or supply chain domain. So we would also recommend those professionals, to take up this course, so that they have a good experience or good knowledge about the supply chain and SAP processes, and then they can go for the jobs in their future career. Okay, so what are the brand benefits? Okay, so we offer a training and certification option that's already mentioned to Snehal, I think. uh, okay, so does this answer your question, Snehal, whatever you had asked related to the certification and all?
Yes, yes, I'm good now. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. So our experienced trainer basically will take you through the entire process, and they will try to give you the entire knowledge of the subject, and also the hands-on experience in the SAP IBP process. Okay, the enrolled students will receive the courseware assignment lab. So there is kind of a tool in place which is called as LMS. So you will be granted an access to the LMS, wherein all the assignments, the assessments, the presentations and lab activities, all the course material is stored in this LMS, and students will get an access to this LMS 24/7 for a certain period of time. And you can go and visit this LMS, and have a look at the presentations, have the look at the lab work that is being done during the training course. So this LMS is extremely helpful for students, to visit and get the updates about what's happening in the training sessions. So the students who have enrolled can also get the access to the blogs and the videos of each sessions. So whenever the session is conducted, it is recorded session. So anybody, because of XYZ reason, you miss out on attending the session, then you have a chance to, visit the LMS and, view the video recording of the session, so that you are not missed out on any important information. Okay, so this was related to the course curriculum. So any specific questions or doubts so far with respect to whatever we have discussed?
I'm fine with it.
Okay, perfect. So we move on. So next part of this webinar, we'll talk about, what is SAP IBP. So as I mentioned, SAP IBP is basically an integrated business planning system. Okay, so this system talks about not only integrating the processes related to the business planning, but it also integrates the people. The reason I say that it integrates the people is, in the various domain of SAP IBP system, there are a lot of departmental heads or a lot of department people, they are working together. So it's, when we talk about the demand planning, it's not only the demand planner who's basically working on this particular process, but it's also supply planner, manufacturing, marketing, sales, and finance. So these are basically the team members who are actively involved in the demand planning process, and they are also involved in supply planning, so on and so forth. So in short, SAP IBP system is basically an integrated planning system. It integrates the processes as well as people. So this particular diagram, or this particular picture that you see on the slide, is basically the picture of SAP IBP system as to how it works. So in the bottom, you can see that it is built on the SAP S4 HANA platform for cloud system. So SAP IBP is a cloud-based system. All the information related to the SAP IBP processes are stored in the cloud database. So as this is stored in the cloud database, it is extremely, easy to retract the information or retrieve the information in a very quick time. In few seconds, you can access all the information. So another example of why choosing SAP, because it is fetching the data from cloud system. This also helps us to, save the large amount of data with the minimum cost, because you are using a cloud platform. Okay, so as I said, SAP IBP system is based on SAP S4 HANA platform. Okay, so the next domain, which is basically an important piece of the SAP IBP, is IBP for demand. Okay, so this particular vertical. In this particular vertical, we do the demand planning process. Demand planning process is nothing but defining a short term, medium term, and long term forecast. Okay, so SAP IBP system uses a lot of algorithms, inbuilt algorithms, to define, the statistical forecast. Okay, and it throws you the various different combination of the forecast at a various level, that is customer and material level. Okay, so when you get into the details of this, you will understand what are the basic parameters that are required to trigger this functionality. Okay, and it gives you a very qualitative output in the demand planning session. So once the demand plan is finalized, then you move on to the next blocks, which is basically the inventory management. So so here you have an option to use the inventory management or even the optimizer. So there are a lot of functionalities here to best manage your inventory. Now, on one side, when you finalize the demand, although it's basically a long-term forecast, you know that by design, forecast is never accurate. So there are always some issues with respect to the forecast accuracy, which down the line leads to, building of a lot of inventory in the in the various in the various stages. Okay, so SAP IBP helps you to optimize this inventory in the best way by using the best demand excuse me, and helps you to, keep the inventory under control. So these are the aspects that you will learn in the inventory management in the SAP inventory management system. Next is the response and the supply. Now, once you have the demand finalized, then you have the possibility of creating the supply. So you have two options. One is to create the constrained supply, or another one is to create the unconstrained supplies. So there are a lot of functionalities built in the SAP IBP system to define, your supply plan based on your demand, keeping the inventory in under control. So the bottom three functionalities of demand, inventory, and supply, this helps you, to manage your production and your overall operations management in the best possible way. Okay, so that's, if you move one vertical above these three, you can see, a vertical called as strategic and tactical decision making process. Okay, so this is the level in which, you get a lot of action items for the organization. For example, these action items are related to the demand planning, inventory management, or supply planning. For example, in your demand, you have put an unconstrained demand. Okay, let's say the demand of cakes, okay, during the Christmas season. So this is basically a seasonality product for Christmas. You see a huge spike in the demand for cake. Okay, so system will say that because it's coming in the December, you have a Christmas, so it will automatically use the algorithm of a seasonality and throw you the demand, which is basically a statistical forecast, which will show you a huge requirement of cakes because it's Christmas and it's seasonality. Okay, so this is called as unconstrained demand. On the other side, when you look at the supply review, you will find that there is some constraint to manufacture or to produce these many cakes. Okay, and during the review of demand and supply, you will see a gap between demand and supply. Okay, so let's say the requirement for cakes is, let's say, 1 million cakes are required, but you can supply only 800,000 cakes. So there is a gap of 200,000 cakes. So these gaps would trigger some of the action plan or action item, which will be defined in the strategic and tactical decision making process. For example, there is a capacity constraint to produce 200,000 more cakes. So these are the kind of decisions, or these are the kind of actions that would come out of the entire demand and supply planning gap process, which will be done in the tactical decision making process. And this would trigger the requirement for the capex, the capital investment for the organizations. Okay, so this is how the IBP works. At the same time, it's not only always about the capex requirement, but sometimes it's also related to managing the inventory, liquidating the slow and non-moving inventory, so and so forth. So so the bottom three and the fourth are basically the functions or teams which is actively involved in the day-to-day operation. And the topmost block that you see in the diagram is related to the top management, who's basically having the end-to-end visibility. So this would be the visibility that is provided to the VPs and the CEOs of the organization. So having on top of the organization, they get the complete picture in the IBP in form of report as to how the organization is working. So in short, the CEO and the VPs and the directors, they get the pulse of the organization. So in short, this in the weekly in the monthly IBP cycle, at the end of the IBP cycle, there would be a report which is published to the top management of the organization, which tells you what exactly are the issues in the demand planning, what exactly are the issues in the supply planning, what exactly are the issues in the inventory management, and not only the issues but also the actions. So some actions would go as an action points for the top management. For example, if you want the capital investment, okay, then these are the actions that would go to the top management level from the IBP processes. So this is how the system works. Okay, it gives the complete bird's eye view to the management, and also helps the management to invest in the right direction. So this is a very very brief introduction about in a nutshell how the IBP process works, right from the bottoms to the top management. So any specific question about this? And all these activities are managed in the SAP IBP tool, which is also a web-based tool. It is also an Excel-based tool, so you can manage all these activities in a Excel spreadsheet, because IBP Excel's user interface is linked to the web tool, and it is extremely user friendly, to use, and it gives you a good amount of MIS reporting as well as good amount of data management. So any specific questions?
Yes, Samir. Srivatsa here.
Yeah, Shivasa.
Yeah, so you were telling about this demand planning and this forecasting based, right? All these
Yeah.
are already there in SAP. So why we need IBP? Like how accurate IBP will be when we are representing for a client, right? When we are presenting to a client, why this IBP is needed? How accurate it will be when it is compared to SAP?
Okay, so this is a good question. The to answer to your question, my first and the most important parameter is, if you are doing a demand planning or the forecasting, let's say in the best system, which is called as an APO demand planning tool.
Yeah.
Have you worked on APO demand planning
Yes,
tool?
yes, yes.
So this is basically a web-based tool. Okay, and you are only allowed to work on the specific specific columns where which you have defined during your project implementation. For example, you will have a line of let's say sales history, then you have the statistical forecast, then you have sales forecast, and then finally you may have a consensus forecast. Okay, so there you have to every time click and select the material from the left side and drag it to the right side. So there are a lot of user interface related issues, wherein for SAP IBP all these functionalities you get it in the Excel spreadsheet. Okay, So you can insert the columns, you can insert the rows, you can calculate, you can do whatever you want in the Excel spreadsheet. And the moment you save it, it is automatically uploaded in the cloud based. So on one side it is extremely fast, okay, versus the SAP IBP. So this I'm talking about from the usability perspective, other part of it is the SAP APO demand planning tool as well as the IBP tool, both would have similar functionalities of the algorithms, okay. But in the demand planning tool, in the DP or in the APO, you
Mhm.
have to go back to the to the master data to every time select the model, check the model, so on and so forth. Wherein in SAP, you have much faster access to the algorithms. You can select the algorithms quickly. So in short, you within the same amount of functionalities which is available, you have much better response time and much faster way to access the data, so that you can come up with your reporting faster, you can do your demand planning much faster. So even though the accuracy, I wouldn't comment about the accuracy stating that SAP IBP would give you more accurate demand forecast versus APO demand planning tool. It's not like that, but it gives you much more user friendly approach wherein you can handle your demand planning process more efficiently.
Okay, so the two things will be, one is user friendly and the second is it will be fast when we compare to SAP APO.
Exactly, and you can have a lot of functionalities. You can do whatever you want in the Excel spreadsheet. You can have your own user interface. You can insert your column. You can have your own For example, okay, one of the biggest advantages in the DP, you cannot change the design of the screen. Okay, once you have
Mhm.
set it, it all remains for you. But for SAP IBP system, because it's Excel user interface, you can change the report as you want. You can save it for yourself. You can show it to other colleagues, other demand planner if they like. You can also share it with them. They can adopt it. So there is a possibility that if there are 10 demand planner, they may have 10 different reports based on their usability. So this is one of the another example of why SAP IBP. So IBP, so SAP has thought of what all problems. See how they have developed the IBP is basically SAP has started collecting the problems from the users. Okay, and based on the users, they have identified the list of the problems, and most of the problems that user face in the DP is related to the access and related to the non-user friendly approach. And this is what they have worked, and they have launched the Excel user interface, which is widely well recognized by most of the SAP community.
Okay,
Yeah.
and
Any other? So yeah, go on.
this is an integrated business planning, right? So
Yeah.
predominant this will most probably it will integrate with SAP, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. It
Mm.
integrates with SAP and many other ERP systems, not only SAP. I will come to
Okay,
that in the subsequent slides.
okay,
And and it gives you one single operating plan. Okay, SAP IBP gives you single operating plan. This is also another distinct advantage of SAP IBP system over other SAP. Like in the earlier scenario, when we had other system, many organizations has complained that the top management has complained that there are 2 to 3 different operating plans. Like for example, a demand planner has its own forecast which he has finalized with the sales team, okay, which is one plan. Supply planner works on the plan which is finalized by demand planner. Then he adds some safety stocks based on his requirement. Okay, so he's completely operating on some different plan. At the same time, manufacturing, because they do not want to make a lot of changes in the day-to-day manufacturing process. They don't want to change the products, so they also work on other operating plan. Similarly, finance has their different plan, which is basically a financial plan. So in the given scenario, there would be 3 to 4 different plans for the organization who are working in various models of SAP. versus SAP IBP system. Now, SAP IBP system has single operating plan, which is finalized in the demand planning scenario. So same plan is moved to the inventory management. Same plan is moved to the supply planning process. So there is at any point in time, if a management wants to see the plan, the operating plan, they would see same plan being used by all the various functions. This is also one of the distinct advantage of SAP IBP over other SAP systems.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. One small doubt. Final doubt it will be.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. No. Go ahead. Go ahead.
so since this integrates with SAP, right? Do we need to have an extractor? So there is a standard extractor process already following up in the market, or do we need every time? Do we need to create a custom one, or it will be covered in future slides, like upcoming slides?
No, it will be covered in the upcoming slides. So
Fine,
if
fine.
you are integrating with other systems, you just
Mm.
have to create it once, and then it will communicate with the with those systems.
Okay, okay. We can see it in upcoming slides. Thanks. Yeah.
Okay, so these are some of the features that we spoke about. So it's user interface, landscape, and installation. It's a cloud-based installation. So the information retrieval is fast, and you can store huge amount of data in the cloud database, as you may be aware. Then it gives you embedded dashboards. You can create your own graphs in the IBP system. Because it has Excel user interface, so you can have your dashboard, you can have your graphs within the system. You can have it published to the organizations, to whoever you want, via email, so on and so forth. Then data modeling is easy across IBP modules. Flexible data modeling, this is also one of the biggest advantage of IBP. Then integration and collaboration, it integrates with various systems using HCI, SDI. So collaboration amongst the planner, SAP JAM system. So features and capabilities, like it can provide statistical forecast and demand sensing. Okay. Supply optimizer, response planning, inventory optimizer. So there are a lot of features and capabilities are built in the IBP system. So it basically provides you the end-to-end solution, supply chain solutions for your supply planning process. Okay, so this slide talks about the various ERP systems that can be integrated, and not only these,
Excuse me.
there are a lot of other. Sorry. Any
Sorry, sir.
question?
Before we start with the slide, I see that Liaquat has raised his hand. Please go on, Liaquat.
No, it's okay. I got my answer. That's fine.
Great then. Great then.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay,
We can quickly move
perfect.
on. Thank you.
Okay, so on left hand side in blue, you can see the various systems which basically can be integrated with the ERP system, like ERP, CRM, BPC. So these are APO. These are the some of the examples of the system which communicates with the SAP IBP, and then it gives the input as well as it can take the output from the SAP IBP system. So it's extremely easy to integrate these systems in with IBP. Okay, and then IBP can run their modeling based on your requirement, based on your design. And on the right side, you see that it can give you the Excel based plan like this in the graphical as well as in the data forms. It can also create the web based reports or the dashboards like this. And you also have the possibility of using your system through mobile interface. So at any point in time, if you are busy with something and if you want to quickly see your results, you also have the functionality of accessing those data in on your mobile phones. So life is becoming much easier. uh, you know so hopefully these solutions helps the users to manage the day-to-day activity more efficiently. So the functions like sales, marketing, demand planning, finance, supply chain, or executives. So these are basically the core team members of the various departments who are using SAP system quite regularly. They have access to all the systems like Fiori apps, web-based systems, mobile apps, so on and so forth. So the next one is some of the examples of the dashboard as to how you can create, the dashboards in the system. So if you get an access to the training course, you will learn as to how these dashboards can be prepared and saved, so you can have your own dashboard. So all the data in the morning can be, refreshed based on your requirement, and it can be your personal dashboard. So the next one is basically how the Fiori web interface looks like. So this is where you can create, a lot of master data. You can run a lot of function batch jobs in the background. So you can set n number of batch jobs, based on your requirement, with a periodic time interval, and system will automatically run those jobs and give you the results. This one is the Excel, the planning view for the Excel spreadsheet. So you can complete your demand planning, your supply planning activities, your production planning activities based on this. You can have another functionality of optimizer, which will tell you, for example, just to give you an example, so there is a functionality called as supply planning optimizer. So this gives you, even for example, if you have, let's say, two different manufacturing footprints or two different manufacturing sites which produces the same product, so it will tell you where to produce based on the cost. So if you have fed the cost, like for example, if my plant A produces, let's say, a cake in $10, and plant B requires $12 to produce the cake. So first it will use all the capacity for plant A to produce all the cakes, and only upon fulfilling the capacity for plant A, it will ask you to shift to plant B. So this is something which is available in the supply planning optimizer, and this functionality helps you to maximize the profit by reducing the cost. And also you have another functionality of maximizing the customer service. Like for example, for a service industry, it is very very important to give good customer service. Okay, so for that industry you can use optimizer to maximize your customer service. Then in that case you have an option whether you want to pay a little more cost to satisfy customer. So that all functionalities can be inbuilt in the modeling for the SAP IBP system. So any specific questions, guys? Okay. So next one, as I spoke about, is the control tower, supply chain control tower, which is basically on top of the pyramid. This is basically used by the top management, the CEOs, VPs, okay, to get the pulse of the organization. So they are sitting in the corporate office, and using the SAP IBP screen, they can get the dashboard which gives them the entire operation as to how the SNOP process is working, how the inventory is working, how the DSO, daily sales outstanding, how the DIO, daily inventory outstanding. So these are the various KPIs they can view on a daily basis, or they can have a live information with a single click, and they get the pulse of the organization. So this is also a very important feature of SAP IBP, which is not available in the legacy SAP system. Because in legacy SAP system, you need to run all the time the MIS reports, and then you have to send those reports via emails using the programs. But in SAP you can see all the data by logging in the system, and you also have the possibility of getting it over your email as and when you need. So the next one is basically, the sales and operation planning. As I said, this is the stage wherein you come up with the action plan as to what should be, the action plans to mitigate the demand or to increase the supply capabilities. So you get the information related to gap between demand and supply, and then you create your own action plan and move it to the top management for their approvals. So here you can see that this is the Excel user interface, in which you see here the data, and here you can see the graphical representation. So this will give you a fair idea, and immediately you can have the alerts set in your system. So basically, alert mechanism or alert management is also done quite efficiently in the SAP IBP. So you can set the alerts, and every morning you can see, if there are specific issues, and the alert gets triggered, and you only have to check and solve those issues. You don't need to get into the entire product master or entire customer master to understand, where exactly is the issue. You can set your alerts every morning. First thing in the morning, you go to the alerts, you check what are the alerts, and you get to understand what are the problems, solve those problems, and you are done for the day. The next one is inventory management, because we have end-to-end or integrated process. Inventory, you can have maximum demand fulfillment with minimum inventory. Okay, so system will automatically do the ABC XYZ analysis. I don't know if you are aware about the ABC XYZ analysis. So it basically talks about, what products are important to you, and what product needs to have what level of inventory in your warehouse. Similarly, XYZ analysis gives you the variability, like even a product which is basically a fast mover product, but there is a high variability in the product, system will give you a different solution to manage this product. So this, in a nutshell, will help you to define various inventory norms for the various product. And once you set your master data correct, and once you set your logic correct in the system will automatically take care of rest of the activities, and it will ensure that your inventory is up to the mark as per the target. Any questions? No. So the last but not the least is the response and supply. So it's basically, the gap between demand and supply. Okay. So here you get to understand what is your unconstrained demand and your constrained supply. So there you need to have the action items to improve your supply capabilities. Similarly, if you have good supplies for some other product and your demand is low, so it will trigger some actions for the commercial or the sales organization to have more demand generation. So this will help you to respond quickly to the issues, and actions can be defined more robustly, and it can be fulfilled in a timely manner, so that overall your organization attains the good amount of efficiency. So any specific questions?
Samir, yes.
Yeah.
See, so you are telling about this integration part, right? There will be
Yeah.
HCSPI and SAP Jam.
Yeah.
So third party tool we can use for integration part.
Sorry.
Any other third party tool like MII something like third party, not an SAP. So can we use that one as an integration part?
Yes, like if you have, if, for example, there are a lot of ways and means by which you can upload the data in the SAP. Like if there is any third-party software, so only you need to do is, you have the master data. Okay, it's basically gives you the structure of the flat files. Okay, in what format you need to have the data. Okay, so master data will, for example, let's talk about the master data related to the product master. It will give you product material number, then product description, pack size, so on and so forth. So it is given in the sequential form. Okay, so in SAP IBP, you download the format for the master data, and you save it somewhere, and from your third party software, you Sorry, you are not audible. Can you speak a little louder?
Hey, Samir.
Yeah,
Hello.
yeah.
Samir, I have an urgent call, like other urgent call, so I need to drop off right now.
Okay.
Can you please share a recording with me?
Yes. I think Sagar will help you to share the recording.
Yes,
Sagar, you are
Nehal.
in.
Yes, Nehal. Absolutely. Yeah. We'll
Yeah, thank you. I'm
yeah,
sorry, I need to drop now.
that
Okay.
is absolutely fine. No worries.
No problem, Snail.
Thank
Thanks
you
for
so much for
joining.
joining in.
Yeah, thank you, Samir. Thank you, Sagar. Bye bye.
Yeah. So basically, what I was talking about is you can have a flat file, and if your third party software can give us the format in the same way as per the master data flat file, then you can directly have the interface between these two.
Okay. So there will be a standard master data flat file will be available in IBP, so that wherever the master data is extracted from, it will be converted to that standard master data file. Correct?
Correct. That's correct.
Okay.
Okay. So we move on to the course curriculum. How would be the training and the roadmap? So first, in the first sessions, we talk about the introduction of supply chain IBP. Then what are the interfaces that are used. Then the next important point is, once we understand how the basic model of IBP works and how the interfaces are basically working, then you need to focus on the master data for demand and supply planning. Okay, then we have the configuration stage as to how do we configure the data. Okay, then how do we integrate the data jobs. This is the next step. The Once everything is integrated or the data master data is fed in the system, then we slowly get into the demand planning, chart and dashboard, inventory optimization, supply planning. So these are basically the functional activities which are managed in the SAP. So this talks about creating the algorithms, setting the algorithms, defining the forecast methods, so on and so forth, and defining the inventory policies, then supply planning activities, and finally, once this training is done, so at the same time you also have the access to the SAP the dashboards and the SAP software, IBP software. So you can have your hands on in the software, and once this is done, then the final programs are concluded.
Like when we are sending data from SAP to IBP, and if there is a problem in the interface, like in case if we are using a HCA as an interface, so how can that be rectified? Like we are having an access to HCA as well?
See, this training program would be focused on the IBP system, So this would be basically a basic training program. Okay, so it will not basically get into a deep dive of the implementation or the integration of the third party server or third party database into SAP IBP system. Okay, so you will be getting the access to the IBP server. Okay, and within this IBP server, we will create some dummy database. Okay, and we will run all the functionalities related to master data, then demand planning, supply planning, inventory optimization, so on and so forth. Like for example, if your question is related to, like, if you have a standalone software somewhere out of SAP IBP and you want to integrate that into SAP IBP server, so this is not part of the scope for this particular program. So for that, you may need to enroll some other course. Is
Okay.
this your question?
Uh, Kind of, because integrated planning. So integrated business planning means it is anyhow it is going to integrate with any of the third party tool. So I have
No,
worked
no,
on.
no, no. When you say integrated business planning, it's basically integrating within the functions of the organization. So this does not necessarily mean that integrated business planning means it will integrate with all the worldwide standalone softwares. Okay, the
Okay.
reason they have said integrated is basically within the organization. Okay, if they have installed SAP IBP, okay, first and foremost, They do not need any other standalone software, because SAP IBP is equipped to handle almost 99.9% of the of the activities that are carried out in the organization related to manufacturing, finance, or healthcare, or HR, any other organization. So if at all you are recommending any organization who's basically going into a full-fledged SAP IBP system, then in a due course of time they may not need any other standalone software to be integrated to them. SAP IBP will take care of entire activities which are managed in their premises.
Great.
Does it answer your question?
Yeah. Got it. That was great.
Okay, now, as I said, why choose ZaranTech? Okay, so basically, most of our trainers are from the USA, and they are very experts in the SAP, and they have worked for they have good amount of experience and expertise. Okay, so we provide a full solution, full blown certification program along with the hands-on experience. So at the end of the training, a person is fully equipped to manage any of the SAP IBP related job, or he can solve the problem related to SAP IBP system. Sagar, you want to add something to this?
Absolutely. So basically, we are doing SAP training from the last 13 years globally. All right. So let me also share my screen to just showcase our learner community, how our learner community looks, and as well as my LMS. So is my screen visible?
Yeah.
Great. So I would like to show you, this is our LinkedIn page. I request you to follow. We have more than 42,000 followers in our LinkedIn SAP Learner community page, where we basically showcase each and every post related to SAP, corporate training materials, guidance. So we'll be posting every 30 to 40 minutes. You'll be getting posts, right? So this is something what we are doing, and we have an amazing base. We also do corporate trainings. We do one-on-one trainings as well. Apart from that, I would also like to showcase you the LMS, learning management system, what we basically provide. So this is a LMS. Once you enroll for our training program, you get a dedicated learning management system portal. So you can see how it looks. So you can go through home, the course curriculum. This is just for a reference, what I'm showcasing here. This is a recent training, what we just completed. It's into ATTP SAP. So you can see all the module name, topics, labs, training, duration, all the materials is something what you'll be getting here. You'll be getting assessments, labs, session PPTs from trainer, and of course, video trainings. All the classes are live and two-way interactive session, right? So irrespective of this being live, all the session would be recorded and stored. So you can always come back here, go through the session, and you will be getting this LMS portal for 1 year. Okay. So you also get the session meeting links when you're supposed to join, what time you can join, what all has been covered in the session. So each and every single thing would be, structurally done and presented here along with the attendance. So this is for your reference. So we've been doing this training since last 12 years, as I mentioned you, and we also have amazing followers in YouTube. I also would request you to join our YouTube page, where you can get free access to so many materials as well.
So any
other
specific questions?
From Nishchit, Srivatsa, Liaquat, Atif.
No, Sagar, I'm good.
Nothing from my end.
Great then. So thank you so much everyone for being in this Ask Me Anything session. I believe this session was quite informative. I'll be giving a call tomorrow in the morning, giving more info and detail so that we can start off with the session upcoming week.
Yeah, I'll notice.
Sounds good. Great then. Is there any other topics what you wanted to cover, Samir sir?
No, I think that's all from my side.
Great then. So let's go ahead and conclude. Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much again for joining this session. And I will reach out to you tomorrow in the morning, giving more information. Meanwhile, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel as well as LinkedIn Learner Community page for more information on SAP. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank
Sagar.
you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you,
Take
Sagar.
care.
Thank you, Samir.
Thank you for attending the session. I hope you all enjoyed it. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. Also, feel free to ask your questions in the comment section below, and we will reply to them at the earliest.